Welcome to Voodoo Whiskey Gaming, and today is a bit of a rant, but it's also a bit of a review of the Batman Arkham Knight GCPD Lockdown DLC. So first off, the story. Well, unfortunately there isn't a ton of story in this because it's actually a painfully short DLC. Basically, talking about the story would pretty much spoil what little story there is. As for the sound, they were as good as the main games, as well as the voiceover work was just as good. As for the gameplay, well, it's exactly like the first two DLCs. There's a combat arena, there's a predator arena, and another combat arena. And that's pretty much the entirety of the DLC. Now, because you play as Nightwing in this DLC instead of Batman, I will say he doesn't play the exact same. But he plays very similar. He just doesn't have certain abilities that Batman has, like the glide ability on account of not having a cape, because he's Nightwing. Look at his costume. As far as the controls go, well, they're just as good as the Arkham Knight main game's controls, so not a huge change there. Nothing that harms the game with that. One small complaint that did affect the gameplay was the fact that if I dropped off the wrong ledge and landed on the wrong object, I'd kind of float in the air for a minute, and it would take a little while for him to kind of inch forward onto the ground. It was annoying. That having been said, it didn't necessarily ruin the experience, but it was obnoxious to say the least. And because it's part of what I do, I will touch on the graphics, and guess what? They're just as good as the main games. They're fantastic looking still, so, you know, what else needs to be said? Well, I should say what else needs to be said about the graphics, because there is more to say about this DLC, and it goes into the rant part that I mentioned earlier. This DLC is too short. Like, stupidly short. This is the kind of shit that should be given away for free. I mean, look at what Rockstar has been giving away for free. This should not be something that is paid for. There's so little content there. And I honestly think this has been a huge problem with the Arkham Knight in its entirety. Almost all of its DLC has been too damn short. The Batgirl Family Matters DLC is the only DLC that wasn't this small. The Red Hood, the Harley Quinn DLC, those were both incredibly short as well. I mean, yes, it was fun to play as the different characters, but I'm sorry, I would have liked to have played with them much longer. Most of the DLC for this game has been costumes and Batmobile skins, etc., etc. Nothing really worth the amount of money they're asking for. So to wrap this all up, the DLC was not worth any money in my opinion. I got it with the Season Pass because I was dumb enough to buy the Season Pass for this game. It's honestly something I'm regretting. That having been said, if you have the Season Pass, download the DLC, beat it, and there you go. But if you don't have the Season Pass, don't waste your time or money. So in the comments below, why don't you tell me what you think of the Batman Arkham Knight DLC thus far, and if it's worth any money at all. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. And if you like what I'm doing in general, subscribe. Have a good one.